for the day. And he is called Tanmay. Tanmay is from India. He's an international medical graduate who came from India after doing some work in some very famous hospitals in Delhi. He decided he did not like the weather in Delhi, so he came here to the gloomy weather of UK. He is now a PICU Grid trainee in London, an ST8, and soon to be a consultant. Over to you, Tanmay.
Thank you very much, Megha. The weather in Delhi is slightly better than London, but probably the air quality drove me to UK. Anyway, I will share my screen now and I'll see if you can see my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just right. So are you able to see my screen in the slideshow mode?
Yes, Tanmay.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. So thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to come and talk to you guys. It's really great to see 100-odd people sitting at 8:30 in the night, skipping their dinners and listening to us speaking the same thing again and again and again. And that is how to crack the code. Grid is a dream and it's achievable. And that's all what we should be saying. But we have been telling you a lot of things. Let us see what grid training in PICU entails. So are you able to see my slides moving, right? Yeah, so as everybody has mentioned about the levels of training and what grid training entails, the grid training over here is the subspeciality pediatric training, which is just the 30% of the seats of general pediatrics training going from ST6 onwards. So it is the top 30%, or I should not say the top 30%, or probably I should say the 30% of the people who decide to do subspecialty. I have, with due respect, I apologize, I'm not hurting anybody's sentiments. No, I have great respect for general pediatricians, and they are the ones who save us a lot. But the 30% of the people have decided that, okay, they want to follow a subspecialty interest, and that is what constitutes the grid training. And a little bit about me. I completed my pediatric training in India, and I was working as a consultant in India. But as Megha said, I came for some more punishment, and that has turned to be a punishment, a very long punishment. And it has been nearly 8 years that I've been here in the UK, and I'm now doing my PICU grid training. When I first came in 2014 and I mentioned that I want to do grid, I don't know how many people laughed at me. Some people told me that it's challenging. Some people were very polite and said, no, you may not be able to do it. You can try for something less than that. I was like, what do you think I came here for? I came here for doing subspecialty. I don't have the brains to go back to India and do a DM. So let me do it over here. Okay, fine, good luck. That's all they mentioned. So presently, I'm a PICM grid trainee at Great Ormond Street Hospital, and I'm also the trainee representative of the Science and Education Committee of Pediatric Critical Care Society. Okay, so guys, what's the job like in PICU? A high intense environment with some of the very sick kids, critical care transport of transporting kids in very sick conditions, requiring them to be transported on a ventilator. And if this is not what inspires you, we play with a lot of those toys, a ECMO circuit, a filter, a ventilator, and whatnot. You can see every specialty being engaged into this picture of giving intensive care and highly sophisticated care to are very, very sick kids. We have the sickest kids in the hospital. Are you ready to work in such a highly intense job? Is the question you need to ask yourself when you are ready to apply for a PICU grid training. Can you work in this high adrenaline environment for the rest of your life? Do you have a coping mechanism that can that you can manage in working in an intensive career, which is as intense as this, where a little play of physiology, a little play of things can lead to a patient being lost? It's high stakes job, it's a high intensity job, but it is a very respected job. Are you ready for being the person who is looked upon by all the specialties in the hospital? Someone who will come and save the day, someone who will make their child live and fight another day. Long days and nights are a norm, and there's nothing like a sickest patient. I remember after one night shift, coming back home and telling my wife, "Oh dear, there were so sick kids in the unit. There was really sick kids." My wife said, "Dear, you work in intensive care. Kids have to be sick." Okay, right. Grid is a career that you want to do for the rest of your life, and your grid training is just the beginning. Now, I'm sure you have heard a lot about application shortlisting, interviews, and offers. So I won't bore you with this repeated things again and again and again. But as an IMG, how do you start? Have a clear aim, a goal that you want to do it. You want to do it, and that's all that matters. It is just that eye of an eagle, that I can see only my aim and nothing else will get you through. And that's all. I'm sure my colleagues have told you how to achieve that aim. I stress, have an aim. For IMGs who have not cleared their exams, this is the first step. Get your MRCPCH exam, get into pediatric training. It took me some time to do that, and that may just delay things. Now, have a mentor. This is the most important step in getting your grid training. Have somebody who has been through the process. Tell them your love for becoming a subspecialist. Tell them that this is something what you want to do. And for one person, you can wear your heart on your sleeve and say, "Help me through this, steer me through this," and they will help you. It's not just reading books, it's a lot more, and it's blood, sweat, and tears. We have all heard Farah, and Farah will tell you what we both applied for SD4 training together, and we both applied for grid training together. And Farah will, both of us can give you enough stories of how much frustration we have talked about during our application years. So working towards your application, you have all been told the same. Go for QA projects, do leadership and development projects, poster and oral presentations. Your marking scheme is different for different level of presentations. Try to get an international presentation, if not at least a national presentation, and that will get you good marks. Publications, it's best to have them in an index journal with a PubMed ID. Many a times, nobody is interested in your nobody is interested in your publication. What they may do is they may just type your name into PubMed and they will see how many publications come, and that gives you the highest marks. For me, my publications PubMed ID was quite helpful. This was told to me by one of my friends, that he mentioned that, "Oh, I've got 4 publications," and in the interview, one of the panelists just typed his name into PubMed and nothing came, and he was told, "Oh, I'm sorry, you said that you have 4 publications, but you're not coming up." Okay, so try to get your name on the PubMed if you can. Become an APLS or NLS instructor. Getting these will give you 3 good marks on shortlisting criteria, and it's not very difficult. I lost those 3 marks. However, I still got managed to shortlist, but become an APLS instructor. It's a very important criterion. And a formal medical education qualification, if you can, will be an added feather to the cap. Now, going through the application process, you need to sell yourself somehow or the other, and you need to make sure that you shine enough. Show your applications to many, many people. My application was seen by 5 consultants and some 6 colleagues of mine who have been through the grid process. They went through my tiniest nitty-gritties. They went through my grammatical mistakes. They went through my spelling mistakes. And I felt, oh my God, where did that the scoring highest marks in English in A levels equivalent in India gone? It probably all went down the drain during medical school. But this is something which is very, very important. And take your time during your application. It took me 1 month to write my application. It took me, I started my application right on the day the form came out, and I submitted 4 hours before the deadline. I went through it again and again and again and again. As everybody has told you, go through the marking scheme. That's something which will get you through the shortlisting. It will surely get you through the shortlisting. Now, preparation for the interview. Do you think this is what is required for interview preparation? Reading through the entire Rogers or Zimmerman's or any of the pediatric critical care books? No. They do not want to see how good you are in terms of clinical knowledge. They expect you to have that clinical knowledge because you are appearing in that interview. You have been shortlisted. That means that you are good enough to go for that interview. What they are looking for is the depth of your understanding of the specialty. What they are looking for is how would you contribute to the development of a specialty in 20 years down the line? It's, as Farah mentioned, it's not a registrar interview. It's an interview of a prospective colleague coming up. Next thing is what I would say is have mock interviews. I must admit, the reason I got into grid is because I don't know how many mock interviews I had. People lost count of, like, they would be like, oh, you said we are going for a glass of wine. I said, yeah, we are going to have wine, but we'll have an interview. Okay. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So a lunch was converted into a mock interview, a coffee was converted into a mock interview, or a glass of wine or a pint of beer was converted into a mock interview. Have them again and again. What you need to do for pediatric intensive care interview, I would highly recommend knowing the basics of PICU, read about the basics of intensive care, read about the basics of what critical care provision is, read about what is a standardized mortality ratio, read about how you gauge the performance of one intensive care unit to the other, read about what is PICU, read about what is PIM score. This is all what they expect you to know and to have a broader understanding of the specialty. Going through the PICU report or the shorter executive summary is something which helped me a lot. Going through the Pediatric Critical Care Society website, it has a lot of information resources. It has a trainee group, it has a trainee blog, and a lot of things to follow. Follow hashtag PICU on hashtag PICU on Twitter, and you will have a plethora of information about what is going on in the world of PICU. A pediatric critical care and surgery summary report came out from NHS England just 1 year before I gave my interview. And going through the basics of it helped me a lot in those 40 minutes. What they don't want to, they want, in terms of clinical knowledge, you will have one clinical scenario, which will not be a difficult one. You will be like, oh my God, why are they asking me this question in a grid interview? This is something which I expect in ST4. What they want is the maturity of the decision that you take during your grid, during your, in your answer. Are you thinking like a consultant? Are you able to bail out a difficult situation? Are you able to bail out a difficult parent? Imagine the consultants, imagine the thoughts of the consultants who have to talk to parents of kids like Charlie Gard or Alfie Evans, kid parents who were planning to do a sabotage operation in the hospital, parents who were trying to sue the hospital, who sued the hospitals, and a lot of those difficult situations. Imagine those difficult conversations and just see yourself doing them 20 years down the line, or 10 years down the line, or if you finish a training early, 5 years down the line. So just have that maturity in your answers. It's not about the right answer. It's not about what is done right or wrong. It is about, do you think that that would be the correct thing at that time? It is about quick decision making. That's what they're looking for. Can you do a quick decision making? Right. Coming to the interview process itself, it is going to be a 40 minutes things, probably one of the longest 40 minutes of life, and you're faced by a group of CSAT members who have varied experience. You may know some of them, you may not know some of them. I only knew two of my interview panelists working before, and all those two didn't even ask me any questions. So it's a difficult situation. Keep calm, keep your nerves. The sweat, you may be shivering underneath, but the sweat should not come in front of you. They want to see that what can you offer us, and that's all. When you get a job, think about, do you have the job? Do you have this job as the job that you want for your life? Do you have this job? For you, for some of us, relocation may be a criteria. For some of us, it may be that, oh no, we can't, let me not take this job this time. I will apply the next time. I just wanted to touch upon one thing which has not been probably touched till now. If you are offered a grid post for once and you decline that job, thinking that it is because of geographical circumstances, I'm not able to take it, I will not take this job, I will apply next year. It is very, very rare to get shortlisted next year, because what they are looking for is a commitment towards the specialty. It is beyond geographical locations. It is beyond a lot of things. So that is why when you get an offer, you need to think about what is this job giving us. When I got my grid job, I did not get my first offer. My first choice was London, just because I have been living in London ever since I came to UK. But I got the job of Birmingham. Birmingham Children's Hospital PICU is an amazing PICU. I was very happy. I accepted the job, but my son was like, do we have to move to Birmingham? I have all my friends over here. I was like, yes, we have to move to Birmingham because my job is equally important and you can make new friends. And we were like, fine, I will accept the job, but I'll accept it with an upgrade. I accepted the Birmingham job, and I accepted it with an upgrade. Never in my dreams I thought that there will be an upgrade of a grid job. But 4 days later, I got an email saying that your offer has been upgraded to London. And I'm not sure whether that was a right decision or not, because I still miss Birmingham. I still miss working in Birmingham PICU. But yes, think about the offer that you get. And last but not the least, thank your family. Thank your family. Be thankful to what they are in terms of supporting your dreams. My family has moved from this to this in my training period, and they have been having smiles all the way and smiling by my side all the way. I'm very happy to help with any help in terms of applications and any other questions. This is my email, and I can put it in the chat, or this is my Twitter handle, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm very happy to take any questions.